Welcome to Atma Darshan, Semester 4. I will do a quick recap of the chapter 10 that we have completed so far. Atmananda is taking the seeker to a higher level now. And this is the Jagat Mithya journey of the seeker. It's very easy to get to Brahman Satyam. But the moment you recognize, oh, I am Brahman, I am that oneness, again it fizzles away. I so clearly know it, I see it, I know my truth. Yet I get lost in some major illusion in my waking projection. So I need to figure out what is it. That is the purpose of Atma Darshan. That's why Atma Darshan goes more in depth into the Jagat stories, the illusions of the Jagat. We went quite a lot in depth. In this chapter itself, we've been going slow and we went into depth. Why? Because it takes time for a seeker to identify, oh, this is where I'm stuck. Oh, this is my attachment. Chapter 10 begins with that for the ignorant one, Jiva is merely an idea created by combining body notion and Atma notion. And we broke down what is body notion. What is body notion? Suddenly the body arising of Ekta is there. And I recognize this body arising. Oh, I've had it so many times before. How do I know about all these past body arisings? I, the Turiya, forgot myself, assumed to be Ekta, the waker, and saved the story related to that body arising. Again, another body arising arose. Again, I grasped onto that story and I saved it in memory. Like that, I have the memory of every body arising called Ekta. So I have a nice story now. Ekta was born here, these are her parents, this is the school, this is the college, this is the education, this is the employment, marriage, family, and all the story around the social circle, spiritual circle, professional circle, etc., etc., etc. What have I done? I have only connected every single body arising and I've sewn it together. And now I have a body notion. Body notion means what? Oh, I always have a stomach problem. Oh, I always have a knee problem. Oh, I never get this clearly, ever. You see this? These assumptions that I have made are based on sewing all body arisings together, no? I sew them together, I created a memory, and now this memory is my permanent story. Yeah. This is the ignorance, Atmananda says. This is the ignorance. On the other hand, I created Atma notion. Atma notion started with my religious conditioning. Then there was some cultural conditioning. And as I moved into spirituality, now there was spiritual conditioning. I kept sewing them together. First there was Dvaitam level conditioning. Now Advaitam words are more attractive. Yeah, so now there is this ignorant one who has sewn all the Atma arisings. What is Atma arising? Nothing but the witness that was recognized. The ignorant one says, oh, I have to take the stand of the witness. But once he crosses over and recognizes, I cannot but be the witness, he understands, oh, all these previous ideas were just sewn together. Yeah, they were sewn together. They were about the Atma, the ideas of the Atma. That is what is the Atma notion. And now I recognize, oh, these notions are the problem. Not just the body notion, even the Atma notion is the issue. I pretended to be the person. I held on to the body notion. I got glimpses of non-doership, non-experiencership, but I chose to hold on to my story of body notion. Do I see that yet? If I see this, then I'm very clear when I slip, oh, right now I've slipped into the body notion. Same thing happens with Atma, which is the witness consciousness. I recognize I'm the witness, I'm holding on to reality. So strongly holding on to reality. Oh, there is just one arising and there is the background of the now. Nothing to be taken too seriously. Whether it is sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, thought, feeling, sensation. Nothing to be taken seriously. I'm very dispassionate looking at it. Fantastic. But the moment the old Atma notion comes up, then I say, I, the witness, lose my stand. Can you lose your stand? No, you cannot lose your stand. Do you see this? Memory just links all witness recognitions together. And linking all these I thought arisings together, it created a concept of Atma that slips. No, I cannot slip. This slipping is also an idea. That is also an illusion. Then only when I give up all notions, I come to the direct seeing of the alive emptiness. Alive emptiness. This is the most important thing. Have I reached there? All notions are arisings. Do I recognize this? An arising is only the seen. S-E-E-N, the seen. The sincere seeker knows I am the drishta, the seer. Not only do I see the body, the prana, the chakras, the indriyas, the tanmatras, the dhatus, gunas, feelings, sensations, thoughts, perceptions, but I also see the witness consciousness appear, play, and dissolve. All are notions. That is how even Atma is a notion. When that clarity dawns, oh, this is all knowledge, it's not real. Not real. Then the full blossoming of Viveka has happened to me. By wise discrimination, I rise above all identification. Earlier, I had the body notion with which I had the identification issue. Later, I had the identification issue with the Atma notion, which was just all witness arising sewn together. No. I don't have to work with memory. I have to work with that which remains after doing niti with all memory, which includes body arisings and Atma arisings, which is both the waker as well as Turiya now. Both I leave aside. And what do I see? What is my true nature? It's nobodiness, nothingness. This acceptance needs to trickle in. That is the Jagat Mithya journey. Some acceptance has not yet been established in me. To be resting in my true nature, to be at peace, I need to hold on to reality. If I get lured by that which is unreal again and again, I'm giving into illusion, then I cannot complain that I have not got established. You are giving into illusion. Again and again recognize, use Vivekas that we learnt in our retreats. I am the Drig and this is the Drishya. Drig Drishya, seer seen, Viveka or discrimination of seer and seen. If the I arises and I can see it, if the I dissolves, I can see it, it means I am beyond that which I see. At an initial lower level, beginner level, the I itself was the drig. Now, at a higher level, the I has shifted from the witness consciousness to the pure consciousness or the not consciousness. Only the witness consciousness is conscious. The pure consciousness is not conscious. It's not even perceivable. And that confuses me. Because I cannot see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, hear it, I forget about it quickly. This is my issue. Now I have to recognize this, and that nothingness, that shunyata is who I am. Let me stay there. If Drisha Viveka is not working, then look at the arising. It has a sat aspect and an asat aspect. The arising, which says there is Ekta's face on the screen, perception of sight. The arising that says there's perception of sound of voice of Ekta. That is not sat, that is asat. That is the illusion. What is the sat? That background of the now, that nothingness. That zeroness is a straight line of equanimity where there is no up, no down. In asat, in the illusion, there is either a plus 100 or a minus 100. In sat or truth, it is just zero. Can I use the sat asat viveka? If that also doesn't work, then I move on to nitya anitya viveka. What is nitya anitya? That which is permanent. What is that which is permanent? Right now, this session, which appears in the form of sight and sound, this is not permanent. This is anitya. Can I stay with the nitya? The nitya is that quiet zeroness, nothingness, nobodiness. Yeah, that also doesn't work. Then you move on to Atma Anatma Viveka. You see, this is Anatma. This thought I'm getting stuck in, this feeling I'm getting stuck in, this sensation I'm getting stuck in. This is all Anatma. Now, what is the Atma? Not even the I. That which knows the I. That which cannot be perceived. That is who I am. This Viveka practice must go on moment to moment to moment. Because moment to moment to moment there is illusory arising that is trying to captivate me, that is trying to grasp onto me, that is trying to pull me out of my truth. Only with a strong Viveka can one mature to Vairagya. What is Vairagya? Now, naturally you start turning away from that which is an illusion. It's only an illusion. Does that mean you run away from the home, from your family, from your friends, from society, from Advaita? No. Natural turning away is recognizing that there is a part of me that is not affected by family name, fame, money, sex, children, relationships, even the spiritual path. Nothing can touch that part in me. That zeroness, that is Vairagya. And then that zeroness, that Vairagya automatically matures into Shama, where I am silent, Dhamma, where I am the master of the senses, where the senses do not really take me out towards Rati. Rati is going out towards pleasure. Yeah, there's Uparati, withdrawing from it. There's Titiksha. I can stay where I am. And a Shraddha develops within me. A conviction develops within me. I am so clear now. I see. Nobody else has to tell me. Ekta does not have to confirm to me. I know. I see. Yeah? I don't need validation from outside That is Shraddha. Okay? And then that leads to Samadhana, which finally blossoms into Mumukshutva. Now you just want to be liberated from this nonsense. I was stuck enough in this illusion. I am done with it. I'm done. And now I recognize, the thought that I am this body, I have a mind, and all this name, fame, people all belong to me, the things belong to me, this is my house, this is my car. This whole drama was the cause of bondage. If I hold on to just that one recognition, it's a direct seeing, it's not a thought, even though in the verse Atmananda called it a thought of consciousness. It is a direct seeing that there is that background of nothingness, the background of nobodiness, and that is what I am. When I hold on to that, then that becomes deep and strong, and that frees me from all the bondage. Now, bondage was only these illusions, nothing else. So if I have been slipping again and again and again and again, I recognize, what am I missing out? Is it getting stuck in body notion? Atma notion. Is it because I get stuck in either the indriyas, the tanmatras, the gunas? Do I get stuck in not recognizing, discerning correctly? My viveka is not strong enough? Or is it because viveka has not matured into vairagya? And Kshama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana. I have to do this entire exercise again and again. Do you see that? That is why this chapter was done slowly, so that you understand everything in depth. And you repeat this cycle. Because there is no other way. I do not know what specific attachments you have that pull you out from your truth. Only you know. And every time you recognize, you will have to do this entire work. Yeah. You have to keep reminding yourself that which is seen, that is only illusion. And I am not an illusion. I am the seer of the illusion. Even if I see the I thought arise in my Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana and disappear, it is an illusion that was known by me. I am that quiet zero-ness background. We're moving up now from just witnessing to recognizing I am the higher witness, where I can recognize the lower witness also just as bondage. It appears and disappears. When it appears, I should be alert. That is bondage. I have to be very clear. Yeah, that is why that direct seeing of being pure consciousness must go deep and strong. You must hold on to it. If that goes deep into the being, recognition becomes stronger of who I am, then there is no confusion with the waker coming up, the dream character coming up, the deep sleep coming up, and even Turiya coming up. Because now I easily move on to Turiyatita. The conviction has to be there, that I am not the seen. That is the key there. Then witnessing becomes seamless, fluid-like, effortless. There is a clear conviction in beingness, in pure consciousness or not consciousness. You understand not consciousness, right? Because pure consciousness has one little part of it which is witness consciousness. The rest of it is not consciousness. That is why it's very hard to perceive that I am that not consciousness. Only in my Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana, only in my Samadhi practice do I recognize suddenly the witness consciousness comes out of nothing. who saw it? Who knows this? That zeroness, that which cannot be perceived, that which cannot know itself directly but knows on account of the I thought coming up. That is who I am. Yeah? The not consciousness field, the peripheral observation field which is devoid of consciousness, in which that witness consciousness comes up. Witness consciousness, just that feeling of being conscious and alive. This then trickles into every activity in life. You see so clearly the waking person is doing this action. Very clearly the waking person is seen as in the witness consciousness. And the witness consciousness is very clearly seen as being in the not consciousness. And that not consciousness is intoxicating. Once you recognize it, it's intoxicating, it's sterile. It consumes you. Then there is no more misidentification with this waker. This waker is no more the truth. Question for you. Has the conviction developed to this level yet in life's activities? If not, then superimposition is the problem. I am allowing the waker to superimpose on me, the pure consciousness, which is not conscious. The beingness, the intoxicating, sterile dispassion. That is who I am. But I am letting this passionate waker come and superimpose on it. So the superimposition is the problem. One superimposes on the other. If it's not the body arising, then it is something related to the body arising in the world. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. If it is not that, then there is a thought, which is the mind superimposing. If it is not the mind, there is a feeling of comfort, discomfort, like, dislike. That is superimposing. I have to take special care to avoid this superimposition. And this special care must be taken moment to moment to moment to moment. My problem is I'm attributing reality to that which is superimposing on my true nature. No, the moment I've imparted reality to that, I have become this embodied being. Oh, there's identification with the wrong thing, with the illusion. Yes, so I have to look very carefully at the superimposition. Then it becomes clear that this world idea is superimposed on Brahman. So I should not attribute reality to this objective world. It is just imagined. Truth is, only Brahman exists. So I should not try to feed the illusion. I should not try to fuel this projection of mine. I have to withdraw the fuel. Withdraw the fuel. So if I recognize I have enveloped the aham within the idam, now I've done a big mistake. Aham is the I, the true I, and I've enveloped it in this and that. Even the witness consciousness is this and that now at this level. Yeah, I have to move higher. Here the seer cannot be the seen. I have to recognize this. So, strengthen Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana to such a degree that I recognize the I come out of deep sleep. And those who have progressed higher recognize, oh, it's not even coming out of deep sleep. Deep sleep is a blankness thought that is known after the I comes out. It stands alone for a while, does not like it, and then projects the dream. I came out of my pure nature of nobodiness, nothingness. The consciousness, the feeling of being conscious is related only to that I that came out of that nobodiness and nothingness. That nobodiness and nothingness was not consciousness. That not consciousness does not have birth, death, growth, decay, destruction. No characteristics of matter. That is me. That is me. Even the I that comes up is an object. It is seen. And after the I comes the dream, then comes the waking. All these are objects. Can I just hold on to that which cannot be seen? When I hold on to that, I will overcome the fear of death. For that, this must be understood that consciousness, the pure consciousness, is different from all its objects. So again and again, go through these few verses. It's very important to repeat this whole exercise every time there is captivation into an illusion. And then you have to ungrip the illusion. Illusion doesn't hold on to you, really. You are the one gripping onto it. You have clutches around it. Unclutch. Step back. And agree to be nobody. Nothing. And it's intoxicating, really. It's such a beautiful feeling that nothing in this illusory world can match that. I'm especially saying this for the people who came to the Gurukul retreats, the Texas retreat and the India retreat. We moved to a higher level in these retreats. So you have recognized the pure consciousness, which I'm calling not consciousness, which is sterile, which is dispassionate at its core, and it is absolutely unconscious. Yeah, that. We have to hold on to that. Yeah. Those who missed the Gurukul retreats, no problem. You attempt the next one, maybe you can get to that level back at home. We recorded a self-exploration at the retreat. So Shalini has that. We will do that intoxicating, sterile self-exploration on the unconscious being and see, it may help you. A lot of Gurukul participants who came to the retreats progressed to a higher level with this. Yeah, so maybe it helps you too. Then become very clear. There is no point in asking, why is it that I see a snake in the rope? It's beyond the capacity to understand. There is an illusion, period. The illusion is. There is no more questioning the illusion, fighting the illusion, not wanting the illusion or wanting the illusion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like a boring movie that is going on. Yeah, movie that your family members want to see, so you are not allowed to switch it off. Like that. Your projections want to see it. Now you are stuck. You started the movie and you all sat down together. Your own family members, your friends, they are your projections, your little personal world. Now they are in that theater watching the movie. I got nothing to do with the waker. Nothing to do with it. You will simply see it appears and it disappears, just like the snake appears on the rope and disappears. It is still Brahman. Snake is also Brahman, rope is also Brahman. It is all Brahman. A point comes where in that recognition of not consciousness, everything is seen as a movement in not consciousness. So not consciousness is that which is at rest. And that movement in not consciousness is known by that which is at rest. It's one and the same. There are no two. Then it stops bothering you. Then you stop saying that I slipped from my stand. It becomes very clear. It was Brahman only in the past. It is Brahman and it will remain so in the future. Hold on to pure consciousness. Become very clear. This and that are just bondages. It is idam, including the witness consciousness. The aham shifts now. And it's not even aham over there. There is no I that can stand there. There's simply the zero-ness, the nothingness, the not consciousness. Can I stay there? Can I stay there? All identifications break with the body, with the world. All connections broken here. Then you have truly established there. So aim for the highest, to break all connections here. Keeping that whole summary in mind, becoming very clear that I repeat all these steps. These steps had a very important purpose to bring me to the not consciousness level. Now, can I maintain my not consciousness? Stand. This position is very important. And if I cannot, it's because of superimposition. Recognize it. That superimposition is what I get caught in. So then we'll work deeper on superimposition. If you realize that I'm still slipping, something still is holding on, then there's a little more work to do on the superimposition. Let me focus on just holding on to the not consciousness. Okay.
The not consciousness, it feels like just a silence. That is it. Just a stillness, silence, but the silence and stillness is known. So is that knowing also a part of the I?
No. Then there is still the witness consciousness that has manufactured a blank screen. That manufactured blank screen is known. And then I am the knower of that. No, you're still stuck. Yeah, it's beyond. The self-exploration only takes you to a point. After that, you'll have to sit in samadhi for a few hours to get to the point where the I completely collapses, dissolves, and there is the not consciousness. Yeah, it's equivalent to Jhana 9 on the Buddha's path.